Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Epic Loot Radio. We got a roundtable of epic proportions to talk about the news, and I'm very curious as to everybody's thoughts. I could guess a couple of thoughts, but I'm curious to see if we got anything good out of this week. But let's go ahead and go around the roundtable here and introduce everybody. Let's start with Lono. Thank you so much for jumping over with us today. Who are you, and where can people find you?
Well, I'm Lono. Reforge Gaming is the best place to find me on Twitter and on YouTube, and glad to be here. This is I haven't done something like this in a while. It's been really tough with the schedule to do some of the podcasts.
All right. What about you, J-Dub?
What's going on, everybody? You guys know where to find me. Go on Twitter at JDubCity16. If you want to catch me on YouTube at JDub4U.
All right. Kirk.
The at Warmer Gray is in my little name tag there. And yeah, check out my YouTube channel, What's New Video Games. Got some reviews up on the channel that need some love, so go check those out. They need some views real bad. But yeah, I put a lot of effort in those, and you might find a new game that you might want to try out.
And Mark.
Hey everyone, my name is Mark. You could find me at Mark Liberto on Twitter. Nice long Italian name, and Late to the Game on YouTube. I mean, I'm loud and I make games too, so that's how I'll describe myself.
Late to the game, first to the podcast.
Yeah. There you go. It's all right. Anyway, today we're gathered around to talk about what is perhaps the worst handled marketing campaign that they produced of this podcast. It was the literal worst case scenario because they didn't tell us anything. They confirmed basically everything.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad that you actually think that. I was so worried.
Like this
I was so worried.
To be very clear, I fully support their vision of games being everywhere, right? So that, I think they're making the right moves for the long term, but what we got today was dog crap, and I'm going to keep it family friendly as the best I can.
Nothing burger is
not even a nothing burger. Yeah. Oh, only 4 games. Oh, but don't take this as a signal that it's going to happen. More games are going to come. BS. Everybody's going to take that as a signal that more games are also on the table, and there's no actual announcements for the game that it's going to be. So it's still, and they were like, it's not Starfield and it's not Indiana Jones. I could care less because there's a huge catalog, and Xbox fans, in my opinion, they didn't get the value trade-off, right? I get it as a player. I'm like, this is great for gamers. But for the Xbox fanboy, like the diehard Xbox fanboys out there, what do they get out of this? And anybody just jump in and cut me off. I'm Italian, so I'll talk over dead air.
Well, I'll tell you this: the biggest thing I take from it, and shout out to Tom Warren, because he tweeted this out. He was like, Xbox chief Phil Spencer doesn't rule out Starfield and Indiana Jones coming to PS5.
He doesn't rule it out.
Phil Spencer said, I don't think we should, as an industry, ever rule out a game going to any other platform. So that begs the question. For one, there's 4 games that are coming, and those won't be the end all be all. We know there's going to be more. They spent 20 minutes just talking around in circles about nothing. They let this stuff fester for about a month, where they could easily just did a blog post on Xbox.com, or have another interview with Paris Lily or some of the other guys, right? And just kind of come out and just say exactly what it is. Or, hey, these are just some of our older games or our smaller games we decided to share. No harm, no foul. But that leads to something else. It's something that's bigger, right? And my worst fear was that they were going to come out here and slowly pull the Band-Aid off, but not totally rip it off. And that's going to lead, guess what? There's going to be a huge cloud over Xbox this year. Every single month, every game. Hellblade 2, we know it's coming in April, May. There's going to be a cloud over that game. There's going to be a cloud on every game that comes out going forward. People are going to potentially say, hey, this, we may get this game in a few months, or it may come to PlayStation next year. They never quashed any type of issue in any of the questions that we had. They didn't answer any of them.
I'm going to push back on that, J-Dub, because she did ask him point blank if Starfield or Indiana Jones was going to other consoles, and he looked in the camera and said, no, not.
No,
okay, those are 2 games.
No,
congratulations. Those 2 games.
It was about the 4 games, though. That was what was slick with it. It's not Indiana Jones and Starfield. It's not one of the 4 games. He's doing interviews with Tom Warren saying I'm not going to say never because they're
Yeah.
open to Starfield coming. They won't say they're not going to do it. He just said it was such a smart PR move to be like, oh yeah, the first 4 games, it's not Starfield and Indy. Well, nobody thought the first 4 games were going to be Starfield and Indy because it would take longer to port those. They're bigger. They're big.
Those weren't even part of the first 4 game rumors. The first 4 game the rumors were Sea of Thieves,
which is coming.
That's
Hi-Fi Rush.
one of them.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush was the big one. That was the first one.
Yeah.
Pentiment potentially, and
then
I
either
even saw Forza. Being tossed out there.
Could
So
be Forza, could be an unannounced.
I think it's grounded.
multiplayer game.
I think
it's
the 4th
grounded
game is
too.
grounded.
Yeah.
Grounded
Could
is
be.
definitely also a good choice.
But guess what? We're here talking about games that we don't know that they could have answered. They wasted everybody's time. They could answer that, right? We would already know.
Yeah,
But
that
we
that
could all be
response
wrong
didn't
right
make
now,
any
right? We could
sense.
all be wrong. And guess what? It could be Forza. It could be Halo multiplayer. It could be Gears. It could be any. We don't know. And guess what? We're going to have to go for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in the next months talking about this. And guess what? And that's not good for Xbox. That's not good for Xbox.
I think we'll find out something next week because there was supposed to be a Nintendo Direct this week, and I think Jeff Grubb was out saying that supposedly it's been moved to next week because of the Xbox announcements. I wouldn't be surprised if you see something on that Direct next month or soon from Nintendo talking about a Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. And I also think how they phrased that question, Lono, it was very slick. How we said those 4 games, it was slick.